God, he's annoying, isn't he?
That's not changed this day.
Not even slightly. At least I was on the money like straight away. And stupidly, he made the worst business decision of his life. He just straight away said, "Do you want half the income as well?" And I was like, "Well, yes." Like, I'm at
Not
university.
even 51-49. It was straight
50-50. And I was like, "Why have you done this? Like, this is an awful decision. You don't know me."
You're starting to make a bit of a career being in gaming.
Yes.
How did that start out?
So that started when I came back from that between year 2 and 3 of uni, had played Rocket League, and I looked on the Rocket League subreddit and saw that someone, because I'm massively into Reddit, I've had an account for 15 odd years, whatever it is, or like, yeah, something like that. And someone submitted a GIF of a little rocket flying in, going around a world, and then it said like new subscriber, and then it then ended there, and it said, "I made this animation for Team Rocket." And I was like, the hell is Team Rocket? What is this? So I looked and I saw that someone called CoolCole93 had replied to that thread with then a Twitch URL, and I'd only watched the Yogscast charity streams in December at that point on Twitch. There's the only thing I'd seen on Twitch where they did their dairy drive and the bee thing and whatever else. So I was really, really new to all of that. So I was like, okay, I'll go to that. I'll go to that Twitch. Followed it, weren't live. And then the next day they were, and it was this ginger bloke, CoolCole93, and not yet a pro, but Doomsy as well. And they're both British, both my sense of humor completely. Fantastic, so funny, like dying of laughter. And I was like, oh my God, this is really good. I'm really enjoying this. I didn't type in chat for a while. Like, it was probably a few weeks of streams, and that was like streams pretty much every single day at that point as well. So 20 odd streams where I hadn't said anything. And then I typed something in the chat, and then streamer read my message. And I was like, what is going on? This is incredible. Like, they were doing like tournaments and stuff. And I was like, I was getting into that community, just like replying to stuff and like making jokes in chat. And then they had a TeamSpeak server, which I then joined, and then Doomsy did a games night, but it wasn't Rocket League. He did like a Pictionary thing. And I joined the TeamSpeak, and the first thing I spoke to any of them about was Pictionary. Cole wasn't there, he was doing something else. And then someone else in that voice channel, someone called Mega Shogun, was playing Pictionary. And my first thought of him, God, he's loud. God, he's annoying, isn't he?
And that's not changed this day.
Not even slightly. At least I was on the money like straight away. But I was really thinking like, he's loud, isn't he? And I was like playing Pictionary and thinking he's quite overbearing, really. And then, yeah, I played that and it was really funny, had a really nice time. And then gradually was just getting like more and more into typing more, making jokes. And then I was at university, obviously still in Cambridge at this point. And Doomsy then left to become a pro. He was like, I don't want to stream anymore. I want to really focus on being a pro now because the RLCS has been announced. And it's like 50 grand. Can you believe, Gregan, can you believe you can win £50,000, dollars even, playing Rocket League? Can you believe that?
It was mind-blowing at the time, the amount of money.
It was insane.
And players, the top contracts at that time for players was $1,000 a month. And they were like, this is unbelievable. How are we ever going to top this?
It's like me with San Andreas graphics.
Yeah.
It's like, how can we do better than this? But yeah, I was remember like seeing that and thinking like, fair play, Doomsday. Like, you want to go become a millionaire? Do it, my guy. And then Cole messaged me and said, because I played some like viewer games and stuff with them. He messaged me and said, oh, would you want to stream with me? Because it was always quite fun to chat in voice chat. And he was like, yeah. I was like, yeah, I'll get involved with that. And stupidly, he made the worst business decision of his life. He just straight away said, do you want half the income as well? And I was like, well, yes. Like, I'm at
Not
university.
even 51-49, it was straight
50-50. And I was like, why have you done this? Like, this is an awful decision. You don't know me, really. Like, I played viewer again. Imagine that now. You're getting on with a viewer and you go, do you want half of my business? Like,
That's unbelievable. I mean, to be fair, you were also quite notable in chat. People thought you were entertaining in the chat, which was a Stumpy Goblin message was one to read in the Twitch chat because it was probably funnier than the stream itself.
Usually. And that's what I think Cole then said that as well. And he said it where, because that was back in the days of about 10, 15 seconds of chat delay as well. So Doomsday would say something, I'd then make a joke on what he said, And then 15 seconds later, it'll pop up on the screen as Cole as they're making his joke. And then he'd look in chat and go, that's better actually. And it was with that 15 seconds prior, so it was less thinking time. So then he was like, oh yeah, fair play, I'll try and lock this little freak in. Which he did, like, fair enough.
For 50% of the company.
Yeah, just to throw him money for that. And then weirdly, we were like DMing about something, and I said to him, like, oh yeah, I'm at university at the moment, Anglia Ruskin in Cambridge. And he was like, I live in Cambridge. And then I remember looking on Google Maps, he lived about 3 streets down from my university. Like, probably from where I lived, a 15-minute walk. So weirdly close, because he could have been anywhere in the UK. Like, he wouldn't even need to live in the UK, just by sheer chance. So I remember I then repeatedly said to him, do you want to go out? Like, do you want to go to the club? Like, do you want to go out? Like, I've got mates. Like, yeah, we'll go out. I'll get drinks and stuff. Do you want to go out? And he was like, really politely kept saying like, no, because he was like working at this point. I was like, no, I've got work and whatever else. And I was like, do you want to go out? Like, yeah, let's go out. And then eventually he agreed to go to a pub with his mate, and then I'll pop along as well. For anybody who knows it, it's the White Swan on Mill Road in Cambridge. Lovely pub. That's where we met for the first time. And I remember thinking, it's weird to see someone on the internet in 3D. Like, that face in 3D. And I'm like, this is really strange. And yeah, we just got on really well. We're streaming quite a lot together at that point. But then I moved home, back to about an hour and a half away. I had to then get a real job. And that kind of stopped my streaming in its tracks for now.
Yeah, so then you got your real job.
Yeah, worked at Barclaycard.
Yeah, and Cole was a technical author, and was getting paid pretty well. Was looked after well. Right. Both of you trying to make a career out of this streaming thing, and then eventually you both take the plunge. Do you know what sort of time frame that is in terms of, like, is that 4 or 5 years ago?
It was 2018. And it's when I was working at Barclays, and I just got moved from the evening shift to the day shift, which was way better. That was 7 in the morning until 3 in the afternoon. And then I could get home, have something to eat, and then stream for 4 hours till 8, and then basically just go to bed because I was knackered. And I remember being on that day shift, and we were getting subs, and we got to like 250 subs-ish, and we were getting like donations and whatever, and I've always been quite good with money, and I was saving everything that I was making, like just as much as I could. I was like spending money on the bus, spending some money to eat when I was at work, but otherwise it was not buying anything. So I thought, if I'm going to go for this, I need to have the funds to do it. And I remember looking online and people saying, have at least 3 months of your bills saved up, like just in case everything goes wrong, you've then got time to find a job. So me being an overthinker, I saved up 6 months. So I was like, because I'm going to really go full bore on this.
I think that's also good advice for people working in a weird industry like esports. It's freelance and so on. Because
much more unproven at this point as well, bear in mind.
Yeah, and because anything can happen in esports. It's really not that easy to find a new job. The level of income is not as standardized. So you might go from earning, say, like 3K a month to less than 1K based off of what's available. So I think that's good advice there to be a little bit more on the safer side when working in an unusual industry.
And it reduced my anxiety. Gosh.
Blimey.
And it reduced my anxiety about the whole situation of like, 'cause it's a scary thing, like going from my employment, which was, it was like 18 odd grand a year, which I was coming out of uni and I was like, this isn't a uni job, but I was like, this is great. Like I'm making my own money and I really enjoyed that. And then I thought, well, if I'm going to be getting rid of that, I just need to make sure I'm doing it for a good reason. And my stepdad is someone who I credit a lot with me having the courage to go for it, really, because he is massive into his fishing. He's like one of the, it's like, something, I don't remember the exact name, but it's like Master Fisherman or something like that. He's one of like 100 in Europe. Like he's bonkers at fishing. I don't know how you can be, but he's just ridiculous. And so he always wanted to go like full-time with that. Never really took that plunge. And so he was really pushing to me like, hey, if you have something that you want to do it. Like, go for it. Because worst case, we'll be here to support you. You'll be fine. You can get another job. You're not in a specialist job, so you're good. And he really pushed me to go for it. And I remember then saying to my team leader at Barclaycard, I want to go part-time. Like, I want to go 3 days working and then 2 days off, make it like a 4-day weekend, essentially, and I can just stream all that time. And he knew about Twitch, and he was like, yeah, like, you should do that. That's brilliant. So he then kind of gave me that chance to go for that. And And yeah, that was in, it was like April or something, 2018. No, February 2018 I did that. And then April, I then went full-time with streaming because it was something that I could then actually afford to do. And it was, very, very scary, but very exciting to be like going from literally me sending a WhatsApp message to my housemate at uni saying, someone just gave me £5 for playing Rocket League. This is insane. To then be like, yeah, I can do this for a living. So
yeah, you mentioned earlier about recognizing that shift, that point where it went full time.
Yeah.
And this is a slow process. You didn't just suddenly give up everything to go for it. You slowly eased out of it. You did them both at the same time for a bit. You know, that's the tough period where you're working a full-time job and then working a part-time job in streaming.
That was like, I think I worked out at the time, it was about 80-hour weeks for about a year. Which is
you got no time to do anything else. You have to give up all your hobbies. You have to give up,
couldn't see friends.
You can't go to the gym as much if you're doing that. You can't keep yourself as healthy as you want to, and so it can be quite tough. And I think that's the key message there is your journey was a great example of that slower transition. And there is points where you might just have to take the plunge and then give up, and that's fine. And there's lots of people who have done that where they've given up everything to go full-time in esports and then 6 months later realize, actually, I just need to get a more sustainable job. So I think your story there is a great one that a lot of people will resonate with. Obviously, the getting lucky 50-50 with Cole that's not going to be a normal story for most people.
Business decision from that idiot.
You say that, but like, look at where you both are now.
I've made him much more than that in the time.
I'm sure it was. I mean, it's the classic thing. You see talent in people, and you recognize that you want to work with them, and it will make you better. Like you have made Cole better as a person, so therefore
by a mile. By a mile.
So that was definitely good for him. But we'll take a little pause from your journey because we've been doing a long old Stumpy's journey.
Got a long journey,
and we'll take a moment just to go through your top 5 games of all time. So you've mentioned a few through that journey there.